Yes. Have you come with questions?
Welcome back, Fanfueled family. After last week's long video on Kimimaro, we're going to go for something a little shorter. Today, we're going to take a look at a topic requested by a viewer. Back on my video on Dirge, longtime viewer Jeremy Viviana Griffin 9458 requested I take a look at the Maladian Assassins, so that's what we're going to do. When you think of nigh unstoppable killing machines in Star Wars, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Mandalorians? Sith Lords? General Grievous? Maybe you're a regular viewer of the channel, and, being as cultured as you are, you think of the Gendai like Dirge. What if I told you that one of the most dangerous forces in the galaxy was none of these? The Maladian Assassins were a cult of contract killers from the Maladi system. They were well known for their tendency to honor their contracts, executing the job they were paid for without question or prejudice. They were also known for their almost immaculate success rate, including many contracts against Jedi. They were respected for this success rate, as well as their professionalism. Contracts for them were...
It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business.
Because of their black full-body armor, we don't know for sure exactly what species they are, but they appear humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, similar musculature. The Maladian Assassins were used at least as early as 30 years before the outbreak of the Clone Wars. A young Darth Sidious and his aide, Sate Pestage, hired a Maladian assassin to kill Senator Vidar Kim, who had been Palpatine's tutor. Kim had been identified by Palpatine's Sith Master, Darth Plagueis, as a threat to the Sith Grand Plan. On Coruscant, while Kim traveled in an open-air speeder with his only remaining heir, a Maladian assassin fired a single shot into the speeder's engine, blowing it up and killing Kim. Immediately after confirming the kill, the assassin killed herself to prevent capture and interrogation by the Jedi, injecting neurotoxins into her body. Senator Kim's son, Ronhar Kim, survived. He was a Jedi Knight after all, and likely used one of those fancy force powers we've talked about in the last few videos, go check those out, to protect himself from the explosion and crash. At the funeral, Palpatine, who remember hired the assassin, approached Ronhar and offered condolences. This was the first Jedi Palpatine ever met. Palpatine offered to form an alliance, and he used that connection with Ronhar to endear himself to the Jedi, and then took the position of Senator. A few months later, the Grand Senator Pack's team hired a group of Maladian assassins to execute Hego Damask II, an ally to the intergalactic banking clan. What team did not know was that Hego Damask II was actually the Sith Lord Darth Plagueis. 36 Maladian infiltrated a meeting of the Order of the Canted Circle, an exclusive secret society on Coruscant, and drugged members to take over their identities and not arouse suspicion. During the Order's ceremony to induct Lars Hill into their numbers, the Maladian decapitated Hill and attacked Damask, throwing decapitator discs at him. He was wounded in the neck by this volley of blades, and despite one of Damask's few surviving Sun Guard attempting to defend him and even using the dark side to defend himself, he was on the verge of death when Palpatine and Sate Pestage arrived, and the three were able to defeat the assassins. While Plagueis did survive, the encounter left him permanently wounded, and for the rest of his life he needed a respirator mask to breathe. Anytime you see a depiction of Plagueis wearing his respirator, remember, it wasn't a Jedi or a rival Sith that did that to him, it was a group of very skilled assassins. The Maladians were, clearly, very committed to the completion of their contracts. Even seeing their target use the Force to defend himself wasn't enough to cause them to flee. And not only that, they overwhelmed and nearly killed a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
They always carried an option for suicide in the event that they were in danger of capture. While the Maladian assassins were skilled with many different weapons, they frequently used vibroblades, blasters, and decapitation discs. We never actually see these latter weapons, but they're likely similar to the real-world chakram, a bladed circular disc used for throwing. Decapitation discs, however, probably use the same kind of vibration technology that vibroswords used, allowing for much more cutting power. They were trained as fighters, and as such had incredible agility, enough to outmaneuver Jedi. There are sadly very few appearances of the Maladian assassins. So far they've only appeared in one issue of a comic, Star Wars Republic number 64, published on April 28, 2004 in a flashback, and in the Darth Plagueis novel by James Luceno, published in January of 2012. Despite these very limited appearances, they're a rather interesting group. As you've probably realized by now from watching my videos, I love characters and organizations that have this sort of expectation-defying strength. The idea of a group of assassins overcoming and almost killing Darth motherfucking Plagueis is crazy, but the Maladians gave expectations the finger and did it. I just think that's neat. I just want to give another shout out to viewer Jeremy Viviana Griffin 9458 who suggested that I take a look at the Maladians. Thanks! I'm glad you did, they're really cool, and I'm happy I could cover them on the channel. If you leave a comment, I'll pin it. So what do you think of the Maladians? Did you know about them before watching this video? Do you want to see more of them in the future? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know what you, yes, you, the viewer watching right now, want to see me cover next. I love covering the things you want to see. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider leaving a like, a comment, and especially hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. Every bit of interaction really helps me out, and it helps the channel grow. There's a new video every single Friday, as well as text posts, polls, and even bonus videos here and there. If you haven't seen last week's video on Kimimaro from Naruto, click here. Or click here to check out another viewer request video on the Sun Guard. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.